Now, I don't think it has to be zero sum, but many of us feel like we're being put in that position. Choose a side. And typically, in some ways, this isn't that different from what the Arab citizens of Israel have been through for most of history. They're always being caught in between the political sort of tectonic plates of, the Israel-Arab conflict, the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, the occupation. Many of them, of course, have family in the West Bank and Gaza and East Jerusalem, because those are families who were broken up during 1948. By most estimates, about 80% of Gazans are refugees from 48 Israel. And so they kind of can't be forced into one side or another demographically or emotionally. And so I think all of those things are playing into what's happened. At the very same time, I don't want to underestimate the fact that the police, under the Minister of National Security, Itamar Ben-Gvir, and the police chief took a very strict line and very early on said they will not tolerate demonstrations against the war. They actually physically blocked and legally blocked demonstrations in a couple of Arab communities in the very first weeks. And there were, quite a number of arrests. We have reports of about a few hundred people, I would say, being arrested for things like Facebook posts that were interpreted as somehow expressing either solidarity with Gaza and interpreted therefore as supporting Hamas on some level. Some of these may be, have more genuine substantive charges behind them. Some of them seem pretty spurious. We have reports of people who were arrested or investigated for posts they wrote before October 7th. And so I think that, we can't underestimate the fact that there's a lot of fear that if people were to go out, demonstrate, express their opinion, that they could face a very heavy-handed police response. And all of those things play into the attitudes, I think, in that community. I want to mention one last thing. There have been early on, even on October 7th itself, that very evening, there was a convening initiated by civil society leaders, particularly those who are involved in shared society initiatives, which basically just means Jewish-Arab cooperation in Israel. We have many such groups, NGOs, nonprofit organizations, lots of people who deal with joint education, bilingual activities, and peace activities, and common social causes. And they all got together, even starting October 7th, to talk about how to prevent a resurgence of violence through coexistence-related activities and de-escalation activities. And all of the groups started filling in an Excel form saying, this is what we think we can do to help prevent escalation. So my reading is that all of those things have contributed to the fact that we haven't seen that kind of unrest or violence among Israeli civilians.